Taurus family, what is going on? Welcome to the channel. I'm Deborah, this is Purusha Intuitive, and we're gonna look at your energy for the next couple weeks. So let's get into it, Taurus. Grab a coffee, grab a beverage, sit, relax, enjoy. We are gonna start off with an energy cleansing per usual. I'm using Palo Santo. This is a really good herbal smudge to kind of soften the blow. It helps create peace and calm and brings a little more sweetness into life. We have a lot transitioning right now with Pluto in retrograde. We also have a new moon coming up at the end of this week. I believe it's the 8th, right? Today's the 4th, yeah. So I'm recording this on the 4th. The new moon, excuse me, is on the 6th. Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself. And new moons are great because they are about setting new intentions. So as we're going through these transitions, as we're seeing the things that work and don't work, hopefully make adjustments accordingly. Flipping the way our perspective, how we approach things is really important right now, and not trying to continue to do things the same way over and over and over again. That's what's gonna make us upset. So with that, Taurus, this is also a good time to set your own intention for the reading. If you have messages you would like to receive from Spirit, questions to be answered, now is the time to set that intention. All right, and let's get going. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure love and grace. I release anything that is not for our highest and best. Fear, doubt, insecurity, lack of worth, lack of value. Cleanse and release what is not needed from this space, from this time. Help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels, Mama Love. All right, let's get into it. So as I mentioned, and it's not horrible this week. Like, I feel like there is more support than what we've been seeing astrologically. So that's giving us a leg up. That's giving us that helping hand that we need. However, there are things that are popping up right now from the past, things that we need to revisit, things that need to be readdressed before we move forward, before we move on. And that in and of itself can be a little overwhelming because we get sucked back into past energy, people, places, and things that maybe we don't want to deal with anymore, or there's a reason why we left it behind, etc. So this is about understanding yourself on a deeper level, connecting with yourself on a deeper level, finding out what your purpose is, or creating that purpose for your life. Purpose comes through the things that we feel impassioned about, that we feel enlivened by, that make us excited to learn, to grow more, to expand more. I'm hearing, Taurus, for you, you are seeing a little bit more of this come to the surface. It's a question in your mind, or you're just looking at life in the way of like, what am I supposed to be doing? What's my next step? How is this all gonna play out? Where can I find that happiness and fulfillment? And I feel like that's why there are some residual things that need to be cleaned up, because we are really, once Pluto stays direct in Aquarius, we are really going after the things that we are hopeful for, that we would like to see manifest in our life, that wish fulfillment. And a lot of times when we let chaos, drama, situations control us, overwhelm us, infiltrate us, infiltrate our purpose and our path, it makes it really hard to stay focused, right? To stay focused on what you want, what you're going after. And a lot of this is coming down to the approval that you find within yourself. Do you approve of what you're doing? Do you approve of who you are? Or are you constantly seeking that outward validation? And I feel like so it's interesting, this is a moon cycle deck and we have all full moons on the board. So there's a lot, and full moons are about amplifying energy. They're also about bringing in our manifestations, right? So they give us clarity because the energy can be super crazy or wonky or whatever. Like people, you know, you can tell when it's a full moon, right? So because that is happening, because it gets jostle, right? We see people act, behave in a different way. We're also in Gemini season, so a lot of that duality is going to be popping up. It forces us to have more awareness. Okay, so 4 full moons, it forces us to have awareness. And that awareness does sometimes come through, or most of the time comes through, when something's not working, when something doesn't feel right. I feel like you've been trying to appease people, or you've been trying to follow how they're telling you to live or what they're telling you to do. You feel in alignment with what's being asked of you, but something about the approach, because it's other people's approach, because it's other people's perspective, is not fitting for you. And I feel like this is kind of rooted in a situation with people, with a person that needs to be readdressed. It could be love. It could just be someone that you connected with, someone that you really liked and things went sour. There's more to the story, is what I hear. More to the story than what meets the eye. Maybe that's where some of the confusion came into play for you, Taurus, because you were relying heavily on outside opinions, outside approval. And Spirit really is challenging you and testing you in this way of, do you want to go with the crowd? Do you want to play out in this herd mentality that, yeah, it might kind of like topically, surfacely, it might look like this is what I want to be doing, but there's something, it's just not the right community, or it's not the right vibration, or it's not the right situation. And you're already feeling that, you're already getting hints of that, but you're trying to stay focused. You're trying to, I feel like you're not even listening to yourself is what I'm hearing. You know, whatever your internal is saying to you, you're kind of putting it off to the side. You're putting people, relationships more at the forefront of your choices. The Lovers card comes up with the 5 of Wands, so conflict in these relationships. You feel conflicted by them. Again, this could be love. It doesn't have to be. The Lovers is really just a deep connection that we share with someone. It can be a long-term relationship, but sometimes we feel like we know people, you know, after a short interaction with them. And so this is really talking about how, again, really just confirming what I'm saying. Something's not sitting right with you. Someone's either telling you to do or trying to get you to behave in a certain way, or it just doesn't feel right. It feels off. It feels like there is some selfishness. There is some ulterior motives. With the 8 of Orbs, we're seeing toxicity in your environment, survival of the fittest, Darwin's bark spider. I love that. So you're dealing with something or someone who is incredibly competitive. The relationship is not about harmony and synergy. It's about who's on top. It's about hierarchy. And they're looking at this like they don't want to, I don't know, they don't want to spend time and energy investing into this anymore. Maybe there is a lot of fighting and a lot of drama. Interesting. So this person goes from the 8 of Cups to the 9 of Cups. it's basically like you might be calling someone out is what I'm hearing. Like, telling them, this doesn't work for me anymore. I can't do this. This is not sitting right with me. I feel like you are having conversations. There is this hope, this belief within this individual that they'll be able to get it together. But there still is a lot of fear surrounding them. There's a lot of hesitancy. I don't really know if I can do this. I don't know if I have the strength to do this. Yes, I know that I need to walk away from toxic things, or maybe the toxic dynamics between you two. Maybe the fighting has caused a lot of issues. There is a new beginning, and I feel like this kind of connects back to what decision you'll make moving forward, Taurus, where you feel most called to, both in your own relationship with yourself, but also your personal relationships. Let me get one more clarity on this situation that you're dealing with. Sorry, these cards are a little awkward, but they're so beautiful. So 4 of Wands. So really speaking to, Page of Wands. So speaking to someone who's just not very committed, not very, like, this is immature energy. They act and then they think about what their choices were. And it does feel like distance. Even if you're still seeing each other physically, there does feel like there's a lot of distance between you. I feel like the communication that you are doing, if there is any, it's not, both parties aren't understanding, right? Like, it's, you're just missing each other. But again, with this person being in a Page of Wands vibration, it talks about how they're not really getting it. They're not getting what you need from them. They know that there's some things that they're doing that they could change and adjust, but at the same time, I don't really think it's sinking in. I feel like it's like, I get this element of like desperation. Like, yeah, I'll do what I need to do to like keep this patched up, but I'm not really going to go any deeper and do the work. With the Death card in the blocked energy, it's talking about how this cycle is continuing on. It keeps going. I feel like this is a cycle that you've been in for 2 years, maybe even 13 years since Pluto retrograde or Pluto went into Capricorn. For some of you, take what resonates, leave the rest behind. Not all things will fit. Obviously, they're collective readings. 3 of Cups. So yeah, it's like refusing to make changes. Like, there's a lack of balance. There's a lack of harmony. And I feel like in some ways it's just because certain situations and relationships that you're choosing right now don't authentically fit. Yeah, we can make things work, relationships are work, period. We all know that, right? Like, anytime we want to achieve something notable or have something valuable in our life, it takes work, and that's the reality of it. And I feel like I said in the very beginning, this surface is being maintained, but the deeper layers that actually makes this a sustainable connection, it's not. And you haven't made a decision one way or another. They're saying they're going to try. Maybe they do a few things here and there, but then it goes back to that same cycle over and over and over again. And Spirit is asking you to be aware of places that either you're being taken for granted, that not enough value is being put into this relationship, especially if you are dealing with someone who is really immature, doesn't have the experience or the wisdom to put into this dynamic in the way that maybe you do. With the Lovers, it's Gemini energy, so confirming that value of seeing the other side Like, I feel like you're seeing this person in a way, you've seen it coming, but maybe didn't pay attention to it. And now you are. And now it's like, ugh. But there's enough of something established here that's making it hard for you to walk away, right? There's a lot of aspects that seem like it's where you should be or what you should be doing. And, sometimes situations, relationships in our life serve as a platform to gain wisdom, knowledge, so we can grow to the next thing that is a little more heart honoring for us. And that's what this feels like a lot, Taurus. It's not, it just doesn't work for some reason. 5 of Wands energy is all about conflict for the sake of conflict, right? When you know what you should be doing, but this guy doesn't want to, or some of the people that you're collaborating with. And, the hard part is they're telling you what you want to hear. They're saying exactly the right things in order to keep you around. And it comes through as, well, I really love this person, love this situation. I'm not ready to leave it behind. But there's something around it where it's like, okay, I just heard that saying, shit or get off the pot, right? Sorry for the vulgarity, but it's true. If neither party can commit in a way that is honoring for both parties, then what's the point, right? If you have someone who's just like trying to get away with stuff or not handling their business, not handling their shit, it doesn't make it your responsibility to do so just because you care about them, just because this is an important relationship. That's part of also what this Pluto retrograde is, diffusing places that we take on responsibility for other people's things. And those lines can be really fuzzy in relationships, right? Like, we have to be very aware of, what is ours and what is not. And that in and of itself is a learning process, a learning curve. But if you're constantly getting put into these situations where, it's the same thing over and over and over again, there's a reason why that patterning is coming up. Because that's what Pluto in retrograde is asking us to change. That's what Pluto moving into Aquarius is asking us to change so that we can have a life that's more happy and fulfilled. Spirit's asking you to make some movement forward. Do a little work, research around what you need to do to make that happen, to move forward, to not be stuck in this. And I'm not necessarily, like, right now, it's also about our own empowerment. So as much as we have these relationships that, yes, it's important to nurture and to nourish as well, but we need to be putting ourselves first. It's that proverbial, you have to fill up your cup before you can fill up anyone else's. And right now, the way the dynamic is, it's just the same cycle over and over and over again, right? Hence why we're getting all these full moons. It's a circle, never ending, right? And you know it. You've been down this road multiple times. You're a little over it. You're starting to get annoyed and frustrated. But again, there's this part of you that's making excuses or justifications. Yep. Okay, as I'm saying that, the Tangle and the Slingshot card come up. So, I'm hearing that a lot of the dynamics that are already created in this situation cannot be undone. It's like when we have too many knots in something, it takes forever and ever just to get them undone. And I'm hearing that there's a lot, it's almost like it would need to be completely whitewashed, completely revamped, starting from scratch. But I don't feel like the person or situation that you're dealing with could really handle that, because they do feel really immature. The spacesuit talks about what is your lifeline? How do you receive that energy, that life force to empower you towards your purpose? And what are the things that are draining that for you right now? What are the things that you keep coming, that patterning that we were talked about? Yeah, it's time to prune a little bit, Taurus. It's time to refine. It's time to let go. And we're far enough in this Pluto retrograde where, you know, we know what we have to actively change. Yeah, like some of the outside factors of what's being changed for us, we can't necessarily control or dictate how that plays out, but we can still evaluate against ourselves and make choices to refine. There is some sadness around it. I love this card though, because it really does talk about how it's our perspective, you know, that value of the glass half full or the glass half empty. And I feel it's a difficult decision to make. We saw this a lot in the Aries reading as well. Maybe you have Aries placements, could be dealing with an Aries, or just the energy that is the collective, that is the astrology. Needing to make better boundaries. A lot of the zodiacs are getting this rope card because we have to make boundaries with those things that are a little more toxic, that do take advantage, that do, really don't have like our best interest at heart, or are coming from a really selfish perspective. I think there's more things to explore. I think there's more opportunities that are in front of you that want to connect with you, Taurus. You just have to make the decision to do so. And I feel like you're going to be figuring a lot of that out the next couple weeks, because if it continues in this way, it's like you get so annoyed that you're just like over it. You know, it would be like a one and done. And that's kind of how the energy presents towards the end of this time period with that Seven of Swords, Six of Swords. So sometimes it's just like better to address it beforehand. Sometimes we do need to surrender, but I feel like Spirit's really asking you to take an honest look at what's going on and then make decisions accordingly. So I know this wasn't the most fun reading, but I do hope it helped. I hope it resonated, gave you insight into how to deal with what you're navigating right now. Know that I'm just, sending all the love and blessings. These things aren't easy, and I get that 100%. Drop comments below. I love to hear how it resonates, or just be that helping hand of support. Thank you for your time and energy always, sending all the love and blessings your way.